Ever since the most recent legendary crafting update came out a few months ago, legendary modules have taken on a much larger role in the rewards worth farming for, since you need so many of them to add effects to your gear. Not to mention the fact that a 4-star legendary mod will cost 120 modules to add to your gear, making a full set of armor ridiculously expensive, or even just adding them to your full arsenal is going to be one huge grind. So you're going to want to stock up on as many legendary modules as you possibly can, as often as you can. There are a few ways to get your hands on these precious bad boys, some better than others, but we'll go over pretty much all of the ways so you could try to maximize how many of these bad boys you could get per day. But like I said, there are some great farming ways to get these modules, and you could really increase the number of them that you're pulling in per day with one specific method that we're going to talk about, and I will leave a link in the description to a full video on that method. But without ado, let's go over all of the methods in this video. All right, so like I said, I'm going to cover pretty much every single method for getting modules, well, every single method that's worth it in getting modules. So we'll start with my least favorite way, and that will be doing daily ops. Now, you can farm daily ops, and it is okay if you need to farm like ammo or anything like that, if you are a lower level player, but daily ops is a way that you could pull in 1, 2, 3 legendary modules per run. So I mean, it's okay. It is my least favorite method, so that's why we're just going to talk about it real quick. I personally hate daily ops, and I know a lot of you also kind of hate it as well. But just want to throw that out there. It is a option. Daily ops is something that you should do at least once per day anyway to get all of the plans. So you could get 1, 2, 3 modules per day from this. Also, if you just do it once. So now up next, I did want to mention another way that you could get a couple modules per day. It's not necessarily the best way to get modules either, just like the daily ops, but we're going to talk about expeditions. This is a lot better in my opinion than daily ops, just because you could bang it out so much faster than any daily ops really. So it's kind of an inefficient way to farm modules, but again, expeditions, I think it's probably some of the best content in the entire game to farm, especially if you can't do the raid content solo, or if you just can't do the raid content in general. Expeditions are the best way to level yourself up, and also to get a shit ton of legendaries and legendary modules as well. So now it actually has some specific drop rates. So each expedition, you are guaranteed a legendary module with a 50% chance to grant an additional legendary module, and then also you could get just straight script. Each mission has a 40% chance to grant 5, 10, 25, or 50 script. So it is just a great way to get script and then also legendary modules. If you farm the most sensational gain expedition in the Atlantic City portion of the expeditions map, you can get that done in about 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, you could pull in 1 to 2 legendary modules. Not bad, but also not the best way to farm them. However, if you are going to farm levels because you are a lower level, or if you need to farm ammo, or just you're looking for legendaries and you can't do the raid content yet, this is going to be a great way to maximize some legendary modules if you can't do the other methods on this list. So expeditions, at least do once per day, also just like daily ops. All right, so right off the bat, those are 2 ways that you could get at least, 2 to 6 legendary modules per day with just running them each once, and it should only take you about 10 minutes. Now, the third way that I want to mention isn't really a core gameplay mechanic for a lot of people, but that is the season rewards. You could get them just throughout the entire season and as a repeatable on the final page. This is a great way to actually stock up on modules, and this is what I suggest you spend a bulk percentage of your tickets on. If you really want to stock up on them, and if you're an end game player, this is a great way to grab as many of them as you possibly can. Me personally, I wait until the end of the season and then just buy them in bulk with all the extra rewards all the extra tickets that I have. So season rewards, definitely don't forget about that. If you are rank 150, you can buy them as repeatables on the end page, which a lot of people do instead of buying the atoms or something like that. I personally like to split mine between atoms, and then also I do the legendary modules. So again, seasons, if you are doing the raid content, again, I know I keep mentioning that, but it is just a great way to get everything in the game. If you are doing the raid content, you could go ahead and level yourself up through the seasons pretty quickly. just because of how much XP you get from the first boss or from just completing the raid in general. But if not, also expeditions are a great way to get through the season rewards. So if you farm those, you could kind of do that in unison and farm a little bit more efficiently. So just season rewards, want to throw that one out there as well. Not really a core gameplay mechanic and not really anything to farm like expeditions, but you can spend all of your tickets on them, which I highly suggest. Okay, and now next up, I also want to talk about a way that I have mentioned a bunch so far in the video, and that is the raids. If you don't know, the Gleaming Depths update introduced the new raid content, and basically it's just a giant portion of content where you have to fight through a bunch of different sections or 5 different sections, fight 5 different bosses, and then you'll be able to complete the raid and get a shit ton of nice rewards. However, one of those rewards is on the first boss fight, you can get 2 legendary modules, which is really nice. So you defeat the first boss, you get 2. On the second, you could get 2. On the third, you could get 2. On the fourth, you could get 2. And finally, on the 5th encounter of it, you can get 2. So if you go through the entire raid, you could get 10 legendary modules. Now, I know what you're saying. That doesn't seem like a lot, but if you've been keeping up with the Fallout 76 meta and a lot of people are farming XP through raids, you'll know that you can farm any section of the raid. In particular, you could farm the first boss of the raid in about 1 minute. Now, this is going to be a crazy way to get legendary modules, considering that every minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, however long it takes you to kill that boss, you will be able to pull in a whopping 2 legendary modules over and over and over and over again. So if you do it for an hour, and if you're able to kill them every single minute, you will walk away with 120 legendary modules. Now, that's if you're able to do it 60 minutes nonstop. And like I said, you'll get 2 legendary modules from that. So I just wanted to mention again that the raids are a fantastic way to get legendary modules, but still, in my opinion, it's not the best way because it's not a lot of people are able to take down the raid boss or the first raid boss in 60 seconds, and it does take a lot of practice and a lot of prep. There is another way that takes a lot less prep and a lot less practice to pull in a shit ton of legendary modules, but again, I know a lot of people are going to be mentioning the raid content in the comments, so here you go. We're going to talk about the raids. You'll be able to get 2 modules every couple of minutes if you just farm the first boss, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. I promise it is a great way to get not only legendary modules, but also basically every other needed piece of gear in the entire game. Plus, you're going to want those new Vulcan power armor mods anyway, so you might as well just find a raid farming team and farm up the first boss as much as you can to get those sweet, sweet legendary modules. So another way to get legendary modules, not the best way, again, we're going to get to that in 1 second, and I will timestamp it so you could just go ahead and skip to it, but I got to mention my girl over at the legendary Purveyor. They sell the modules, they are a little bit pricey, but they sell them at 100 script per modules, up to 100 modules per day, but hey, it's another way. And with the script increase, it'll be nice just to buy a shit ton of them in one shot. Or if you have some mule characters after the legendary crafting update comes out, now you could start buying them, 100 at a time on your main and everything like that if you transfer all the gear over from your mule. But just want to throw that one out there too. The Purveyor is a nice way that you could get legendary modules if you are maxed out on your script and just need something to do with them. If you don't have any crafting to do at the time, go ahead and just invest in some legendary modules and throw them in your storage. Me personally, when I max out all my script, that's kind of what I do. I just go and I buy all the legendary modules that I can, and I suggest that you do it also to increase your stockpile. But again, not the best way to get legendary modules. There is a better farm. Okay, and now finally we are getting to the real meat and potato of the video. I apologize that it took about 8 minutes, 9 minutes to get here, but hey, what can you do? I just wanted to throw out all the other ways that you can get legendary modules. Although they may not be the most efficient ways, they are ways that you could increase your legendary module count per day. So next up, we're going to talk about the best overall way to obtain them, and that's going to be through events. Now, this is going to be hands down the best way that you can get legendary modules. You can, besides the raids, you can get anywhere from 1 to 5 legendary modules per event, depending on which event you complete. Now, what event is the best one that you want to tackle? Well, don't worry, I'll get into that into 1 second, because that's why you came here. You want to know the absolute best legendary module farm, and of course, I'm going to give it to you. It is going to be the events, though. However, there is one specific event that you can farm on every single server, and you could server hop and you can get a shit ton of legendary modules extremely easily. But first, I just wanted to mention real quick that if it is a seasonal limited time event that's going on, like Meat Week or the Invaders from Beyond, I highly suggest you pop over there every hour on the hour. It's a guaranteed way to get a few extra modules per play session, and these events are active pretty often. I mean, Meat Week, comes around every couple of months. Same thing with Invaders from Beyond, and then the Mothman Equinox, and there's always a limited time event that you could go and hop to. So I highly suggest you do those, especially if you are farming through the events. But like that, I highly suggest. But now let's talk about the best way to get legendary modules. What event you should be farming? I know it takes a long. All right, like I said, there is one event that is hands down the best for getting legendary modules, and that's the public event Encrypted, and it's for a few different reasons. Now, just a little shameless plug, I made a whole video on how to do the event and how to farm it repeatedly and how to get the maximum amount of rewards from it. I will leave that in the description for you to go ahead and check out. It's a pretty easy guide and you really don't need much to get into farming this. I will not explain how to farm this in this video, like start to finish. I'll just do a quick little example. So go and check out that video if you have no idea how to farm Encrypted. All right, so the first reason that this event is going to be perfect for farming legendary modules is because the event is farmable itself and you could start it anytime on demand and then just server hop and do it again. No, it's not a glitch either. So like I said, you could start the Encrypted event on a server once every hour. If it was done on the server, you will not be able to do it until that timer resets. So you just server hop and then start the event over again. So if you have a friend playing in one world, join that world, do the event, then go onto another server, do the event, go onto another server, do the event, and then just jump into your friend's lobby again after an hour, do the event again, and then continue just to server hop and everything like that. You will always be able to do this event pretty much because your people will always come by and do this event as soon as it pops up. It's really not that difficult, and people will just help you out with it. And like I said, you could do it every single hour. It is farmable. All you have to do is just server hop. And it's really easy to start and not expensive at all. All you need to do to start the event is buy a recall card from a robot vendor, really anywhere. Go to a Tinker's Workbench, craft a Soltron recall card, go to the ambush site, and use the terminal. And that's really it. So this event is farmable. On top of that, this is one of the few events that could give up to 5 modules per run, and it will only take about fucking 3 minutes to complete the event. Some people could do this entire event in 45 seconds by themselves with a Tesla rifle and a couple of stim packs. So it is really good. And then, like I mentioned, it is a public event. So people will pop up as soon as the event starts, and you'll be able to maximize the amount of modules that you can get per day. I promise you're going to want to farm this event. This is the way to do it. You're going to want to do this every couple of minutes. Just start the event, wait 2 minutes for people to join if you're not able to solo it, complete the event, server hop, and then just continue to do that. You're going to want to do this. Those 4-star legendaries are extremely costly to craft. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. You've made it to the end of another video. Do yourself a favor and go out and stock up on as many legendary modules as you can. Start buying 100 per day on your main from the legendary Purveyor if you could afford it. And then obviously don't fuck yourself and go out and farm as many events as you can, and mainly go out and farm the Encrypted event. It's not too complicated to do. Go and check out the Encrypted video in the description if you don't know how to farm it efficiently. That will show you everything. It's about a 10-minute video. It's not really complicated. You could farm this thing 50 to 100 times per day easily if you know what you're doing. I know people that literally have done it like 300 times per day. You could bust this event out in not even fucking 3 minutes. So if you want to sit here and put 9 hours into farming legendary modules, that's going to be probably the best way and most efficient way to go about it if you could afford to get all of the Assaultron recall cards. Now, if you can't afford to get the Assaultron recon cards and you can do the raid boss, the first raid boss by yourself, I highly suggest you go ahead and farm that one. Those are going to be the 2 best ways of getting the legendary modules. The expeditions are also a nice way, but it's really Encrypted is going to be the best way in terms of events if you could afford the Assaultron on recall cards, which if you are looking for legendary modules on a large scale, you probably can because you're an endgame player. But definitely farm that up, and then when you are waiting for that to refresh, or if you just can't afford anymore, or if you just want to switch it up, go and farm the first boss of the raids if you can do it solo. If not, Encryptid is going to be your way to go. Like I said, you could do 100 raids per day and you'll walk away with a decent amount of legendary modules, 2 per run, or you could do 100 encrypted runs per day if you could afford the assaultrons, if you have enough cash and if you have enough of the flux and everything like that. But what's your go-to method to farming modules? Did I include it on this list? Did I forget anything? Let me know in the comments. Go ahead and stock up on those legendary modules. You want to do it now before you get into crafting those 4-star legendaries because they are going to be pricey. You don't want to fuck yourself, I promise. And as always, I just want to thank you motherfuckers for watching this motherfucking video. I appreciate it, and we will see you in the wasteland. Seriously, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Let me know if I missed any method. I feel like I tried to cover the most efficient methods, and I also tried to throw in some methods that maybe not everyone knows about that you could do every single day to increase your legendary modules. Make sure you do the daily ops, expeditions, and of course, if you can do the raids, do the raids. It's the best content that they've added to the game. It gives you the most XP, and it also is just a great way to get loot. It'll help you get through the season faster, which you could then spend all your tickets on legendary modules, and it also will give you 2 legendary module per run of the first boss, which will take about 3 minutes, or, like I said, you could just go ahead and farm up some Encrypted, which again will take you about 3 to 5 minutes per run. It's not difficult. I'll see you motherfuckers in the wasteland. Good luck out there.